Well, today I was going to do an unboxing and review on the SKD Glock 18 electric pistol. However, when I opened my Glock box, I found that it was completely dead. Battery was absolutely dead, and I tried charging it with the charger here, and all that was happening was a red light was flashing rapidly on the charger, and it wasn't charging at all, which sort of led me to the conclusion that the battery was stuffed, which was unfortunate because the battery for these is actually internal, and you plug this tiny little plug into this tiny little socket in there, and you actually charge the gun like that. So this led me to my next question of how the hell do I replace the battery in this if it is indeed dead beyond repair, beyond being able to recharge it again. So I got my screwdriver, took it all apart, and learnt something. You don't need to take it all apart with a screwdriver, which is what I didn't realize at the time. What you do is you take a small, I want to say a pin punch, but I don't have one this small. Small punch, and you push this little pin here. See it? There it is. A little pin there. Focus. There it is. Tiny little pin there. You push that, and it will come out. Alright, there we go. You can see it's starting to come out now. Alright, there it is. Pin comes out. And then what? See, the bit that I found really interesting was, like with a lot of the Glocks that I've had in the past, the slide is actually a two-piece. One half here, split down the middle, and you have screws which hold it together. The slide on this thing, it's one piece, which is actually quite a cool bit of engineering. I mean, I think it is anyway. So yeah, so once you've got that roll pin out, you can actually push the slide forward and take it off. How cool is that? I've never actually seen any other gel blaster which disassembles like that. It's absolutely chock-a-block full of grease, but you can see here's the tiny little battery here. You can just pull that out and replace it. Plugs into this PCB there. It's actually quite easy to get in and out without having to disassemble any of this lower part of the pistol, which is cool because I thought what a bad design it would be if you had to disassemble, undo every screw and pull this whole thing apart to replace the battery. But no, there you go. Just once you've got the roll pin out, you're good to go. And to put it back in, it's just a matter of popping it back in the back there and pulling the slide forward. There, and it pops back in. And then you put your roll pin back in. Good to go. So that's how you change the battery on the SKD Glock 18. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's have a look at this. So, I've changed the battery, put a good one in. switch this tiny little switch here to the on position, and it's got a little button here, which is actually a mag prime. It's the only pistol I've ever seen with a mag prime, which is pretty cool. It's also got select fire. So I believe one press. There we go. Oh yeah, okay, so you press it for full auto, press it again, gives you semi-auto, and then hold it down is a mag prime. So that's pretty cool, pretty different. It's got a nice feel to it, it's got a nice weight. Just before we go to the range, I just realised I've got a scale here for some extra bonus random. We can weigh the blaster and compare it to a few other ones. So here it is, weighs in at 229. Compare that to, say, a manual Glock, which weighs in at 124. That's grams, by the way. So yeah, it's got quite a bit of weight on the manual Glock. Here's a manual Glock that I've customized somewhat, and that's weighing in at 265. Beretta APX, brand new, fresh out of the box, weighs in at 185. It's a really nice pistol, this, shame. Anyway, and the Desert Eagle 377. So that's a heavy one. Well, heavy, heavy is a relative term. Heavy for toy blasters. I just thought I'd do that because I had a scale handy here. Alright. The graphics are quite nice. They're just printed on, they're not engraved like some of the old manual Glocks are. But the mag is really, really loose. Like some blasters, when they're brand new, the mag's quite tight, but the mag is like, it's so loose. As soon as you press that release button, it is out of there. It wants to go. So I guess that's something to be careful of if you've got a holster or something that might rub on that release. You're going to lose the mag real easy. I think it's time that we do some test firing, hey? Okay, so I'm going to be doing accuracy test on the Glock from, let's say, 3 meters away. It'll be pretty close because it's only a pistol, it doesn't have a lot of kick to it. So I'll be going from the top row. There we go. First few rounds, I'll just get it primed. Alright, there we go. Alright, top row. Not too bad, not too bad. Alright. Go for the middle row. Not bad. Alright, I'm going to step back a bit. So about 5 meters now. Top row. Hey, she's not too bad. Not bad at all. Iron sight's pretty damn accurate. Let's see if I can get a... Obviously this is very close, but see if I can... Yeah, that's not bad at all. An interesting little thing about this, it is a, I guess you could call it blowback. It looks like the mag's out too. It's interesting though. It's not blowback. It's I don't know how to explain it. So when you pull the trigger, the slide slides back from a motor. So a motor drives the slide back, and then it reaches the furthest point back, and then it pops forward, and then that's when it fires. So it's kind of backwards. So instead of firing and then having the slide back, it slides back and then fires. So there's like a little bit of a weird sort of lag between when you pull the trigger and when it actually fires. Yeah, that's a bit interesting. But pretty decent. Let's get the chrono out. All right, the chrono. 106, 123, 125, 127, 180. This is a pretty decent little pistol. I'm impressed with the performance of this. This is decent. Like, let's get this out of the way. So this performs almost as good as some of the early rifles perform. It's an interesting little piece because it's got a few cool little features. So the first cool little feature is the mag prime. Hold that button down for mag prime. And then press it again and you get full auto. Which is pretty cool. Probably the only downside is that the mag is quite small as a result of having to have, it's got to house a motor and everything for the feed mechanism inside that tiny little mag. You can get extended mags for them. That's a thing. And I guess, yeah, with an extended mag, this would be quite a decent little pistol. And one thing I've noticed as well, this rail here on the front is more of a suggestion than an actual rail. You can see the little, they haven't put much effort into making that an actual 20mm rail. The slot there is barely even cast into the plastic, so you'd have a hard time mounting anything proper on that. I have in the past taken a square file out and filed this in so that you get more of an actual indentation to mount your little laser onto. However, that's exactly where the battery sits, so I don't know how much space you've got in there to file away. Probably not too much, so probably not going to be able to mount anything on there. I like pistols without without too many attachments anyway. I think they're cool just the way they are. The other gotcha is this little tiny power switch there. That's off, that's on. if you do not turn it off, you will kill the battery. Similar to the STD, well, they're made by the same group of people anyway, so that explains why. So yeah, you must turn that off, otherwise you will kill the battery. And if you kill the battery, then you'll need to buy a new one and pull the gun apart and replace it, like I said earlier on in the video. And I think that's what happened with mine. I think I may have accidentally been left turned on, and whenever it's turned on, it's powered. There's no yeah, it's always on. So if you leave that in the on position, then you will drain the battery indefinitely. You won't be able to recharge it. And that is pretty, I don't know if it's not really a design flaw as such, but it's an oversight that I mean, I reckon a lot of people are going to kill the batteries on these just because, you accidentally leave it on sometimes. Other than that, decent little pistol. It'd make a great secondary if you're skirmishing, because it packs a decent punch, and like if you just, even though with a small mag, it'd fit nicely into a holster, and it'd pack a decent enough punch and holds just enough balls, just to get you out of trouble, I guess. It's my favorite. Actually, I'm just trying to think. Between this and the Desert Eagle, which one's my favorite? This would be up there. This is up there with the Desert Eagle, I think. Desert Eagle was my favorite for a long time in the pistol. Out of the pistols, but I think this one's, it's very close. Performance-wise, it's pretty much on par performance-wise, but it's got a few extra little things like the mag prime, which the Deagle doesn't have, and the semi-auto the Deagle also doesn't have. You rely on your trigger pull to differentiate between full and semi. It does take a little bit of getting used to with that weird sort of fire lag. So it's like pull, shoot, pull, shoot. Yeah, it's a little bit weird, but I guess the Desert Eagle probably has the same thing, but it's just because it's full auto all the time. You maybe just don't notice it. I don't know. Definitely a good pistol. Definitely worth getting. Not super expensive either in the scheme of things. Like, I rate this, well, so much better than the manual Glocks. It's not even those manual Glocks just aren't even in the same league. I think they got a lot of catching up to do in the manual Glocks, but this one is definitely worth having if you need a reliable sidearm. Hey, that's all from me. Subscribe. I got more coming. You know it. Catch you later.